our natural heritage, especially the abalone industry. The abalone industry is synonymous with drugs, rhino horns. It's part of the triads, the types of mafia that operate in this industry is actually dangerous. So previously, we had our guys going out on little rubber ducks, and they had nothing in comparison with these poachers. The poachers were heavily armed, they had high-tech boats, and our anti-poaching strategy was just so outdated.
Give us a sense of, the kind of values that we're talking about here. I mean, fishing itself, perhaps in terms of GDP, is about, 1% of GDP, but it does contribute a lot to the coastal towns, nutrition and jobs and so on and so forth. But why the poachers are involved in this? Abalone's of high value, isn't it?
Abalone is in the same category as rhino horns. Rhino horns have been receiving quite a lot of publicity, so people know a little bit more about it. But abalone poaching is a multi-billion rand industry. The Eastern countries are prepared to really spend money on buying. It's a delicacy, and funny enough, it's also considered to be an aphrodisiac.
Right.
So any mind-changing drug is, of course, of high value.
All right, so these vessels and the Sarah Bartman, is that enough to fight this poaching scourge?
This is a start. We have procured 5 high-speed boats. We use the boats like the Sarah Bartman for scientific research. We always have to evaluate the stocks that we have, because the fishing stocks in our country is dwindling, and with dwindling fishing stocks, we have to conserve and make sure that we reserve our resource for future generations. The sea has no borders. Fish do not swim around South African seas. So we're working with the entire SADC country, we're working with the continent to ensure that we do have the conservation of our seas. We're also doing alternative fishing industries, and for the West Coast in particular, we're trying to develop alternative economies so that the fishing communities are not solely dependent on the fishing industry. We are doing hatcheries which do give jobs, but we're unable to do this fast enough. The department is not totally geared to respond efficiently.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the boats. We arrived on one of them a short while ago, and we had a female skipper on there. I guess that they need to be quite highly trained, to operate the boats, and also to be, fighting the poaching.
This has been a male-dominated industry, and we never have had skippers or divers who were female, and we've trained the first female skipper for our speedboat. Once again, people thought it was totally ridiculous when I said a woman could be a diver and a skipper, and it was worked out very well. They are highly professional, and of course we don't just need professionality, we also need integrity, because once there's corruption and our officials are bribed, we know that our anti-poaching strategy doesn't work. What is working very well for our strategy is that we have integrated our approach with the South African Police Service, with the SANDF, SARS. We are working as a team, whereas previously we were working in our isolated silos and it just didn't work. The success of this story was that earlier in the year we were able to return a boat from the Japanese seas. The boat was already in Japanese waters, and we were able to return a boat which had a complete container of illegal poached abalone.
All right, now this sounds almost like a war. Is it dangerous?
It's extremely dangerous. The poachers, they are criminals. They are heavily armed. They have sophisticated equipment, and with our inferior equipment, we're no match against them. So I hope that this will really improve our capacity. It's not where we want it to be, but it's a start. It's a start in the right direction.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us on this magnificent vessel, the Sarah Bartman Offshore Patrol Vessel, and talking about this, I guess, this fight against poaching, a massive job that you have on your hands. But thank you very much indeed for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. People normally think we only do agriculture. Fishing is a huge industry, and this is our heritage. This is part of our country's heritage. It's part of our legacy. In line with us going to the climate change conference, we are determined to ensure that the seas are preserved. The seas and the fish are preserved for future generations.
Minister.